thinking about selling off market or renting to somebody you know, we're going to talk about what makes sense and what it could potentially cost you to do so. I think this is a really good topic because we have for sale by owners who don't get to list on market always. Or you maybe have, in our world, we have really high income properties that don't want to list on the main market. But for the everyday person, going on market or off market, which in our world is on MLS.
They want to list
or
it.
off MLS.
Right.
You can still have a realtor representation in either case.
Right.
So it's not regardless of whether you have an agent or not. It's whether you want to go on the multiple listing service and have it become public and syndicated to everyone else,
Right.
either for sale or for lease. So when you're looking at how do people find homes, the stats we have, which can adjust, but this has been pretty true most of the time. Recently, 51% of people found their home online. I've seen that as high as 80% have found their homes online. And then another 29% found it through their real estate agent who sent it to them.
Mm-hmm.
Only about 4% of people bought directly through a seller they knew. And some have bought directly through their agent or a builder. We get some people that just walk into new construction and buy a home. 4% from yard signs or open house signs, 8% from a friend, relative, or neighbor. But the overwhelming majority are coming from a real estate agent who found it on MLS, most likely.
Right.
It's usually not an off market, or they found it directly offline or online.
Online.
So when you're looking at leasing,
that's your 80% right there.
Yeah, it's your 80% right there is online. So in what world does it make sense to not put it online if you're looking to make top dollar? I don't know if is there a world.
It's hard to do. We have to list
unless there's some
properties.
high profile person that can't be knowing that their house is up for rent. Like, it's very rare, right?
Right. But there are some mistakes by just taking it offline.
Okay.
And trying to do everything offline.
Tell me about that.
I just thought of one that you're listing to, or you're leasing to a family member.
Okay.
A lot of people, oh God, I can trust my brother.
Yeah.
Well, you need to.
Have you lived with them recently?
I always tell my owners, I don't care who it is in your family. They could be distant or they could be your immediate brother, sister, mother, daughter, whatever. Do a background check on them, because maybe there's a 2 or 3 year period there you lost track of them. They could have done time.
Yep.
They could have done something. Where we get a lot of those that happen is it's somebody renting to a family member.
Interesting.
And we get a lot of they're just not paying rent, and I don't want to ruffle the family. I don't want to.
It gets really
be the bad
tough.
guy.
Yes.
And so I go, that's why you're hiring us. We'll come in. We'll lay down the law and
tell them pay up or you're out.
We'll try to do it. We've actually had to evict a family member.
That's crazy.
And but you got to be careful when you're doing those kind of things, and that's not going to be listed property. So that's an offline. Our only other time it works out for us is if we have a current tenant, their lease is up and they're looking to move because we had one where they were getting a divorce, and now I'm taking the family with me, but I can't afford the house I'm living in now.
Right.
So they're looking for a cheaper house or more cost-effective house, and we have one, and they're
just moving from one to the other.
They move from one to the other. That's the only time we've done it where it's not listed.
But those are already background checked, pre-approved, ready to go.
We know their background because
the rental history.
They've been with us for a year or two.
Right.
And so we feel, but I still tell them we're going to do a background check on them.
Because it's a new landlord probably
taking them on. It's a new landlord, and we want to prove to that landlord that they're worthy.
Yes. No, I think that's fair. We see it sometimes on our end. I've sold one off market, but not on purpose. We had the house, it needed repairs done. We took it off market for repairs, and they had seen the sign in the yard previously and just weren't ready to offer. And then they offered when it was off market.
Yep.
But that was just a fluke. And we were just waiting to put it back on market. We were doing like a pause in our marketing strategy. That was back when we could leave signs in the yard. Now you can't anymore.
Right.
Now if the house is no longer listed, you have like 2 days to take the sign out of the yard. If you're going to list the house, you must put the sign in the yard within so many hours, so many days. I think it's 1 business day, or probably 1 day. It's probably 1 day. My admin's gonna be like,
can you do
a coming soon?
coming soon?
You can do a coming soon if it's in MLS as a coming soon.
Okay.
So it has to mirror whatever's going on in MLS. And then if not, you have to pull that sign or you get in trouble. Now you can have it on MLS and not have a sign in the yard.
Right.
That's fine. I also don't know why people do that, because I think that you do get some drive-by traffic, but there are some people that don't want signs in the yard, and I don't.
Whenever we have a sign in the yard, we get calls.
Yeah.
But
because there are some people that just
doesn't-
get in their car on a Saturday and just drive around neighborhoods to see what's available. Like that pastime will never go away. Regardless of how much technology we have in the world, they want to see what the neighborhood looks like, where it's oriented on the street, which way it faces, all the things. What's the curb appeal?
Right.
And then they'll call the number on the sign. So I don't get it. So if you were on market, pros and cons of being listed on the market. Exposure is probably the biggest pro, because it's not just the exposure of the local MLS. We've talked about national sites as well. You're getting anyone who's looking online, most likely. I mean, even Google's picking up the addresses. Right. They want to be able to provide information, and so those listings are going to show up. You get more competition, most likely. Probably more competition than the one person showing up, right? So potentially better offers, or at least the opportunity to try to get better offers. And that could be an offer for rent or offer for sale. Easier to price check and justify value. I think that's an interesting concept. A lot of times people are worried that maybe if you sell off market, you don't know if you actually got the right price or not. And if you sell on market, you're going through appraisal, or you're just seeing the competition that's online as well.
Usually when you're off market, though, you don't want to spend the money to do the marketing that would get you a better price,
right?
Because you're saving money, so you don't have to list it.
So it's coming down. You're inherently getting a lower value regardless when you sell off market.
But you might break even as far as what your
depending. I think you start that way with the
your
offer.
risk reward.
I think the offer starts that way, and then they still go through the due diligence process, and then they still ask for more money. And every buyer is, no matter what, at least in Texas, the way our process is, you write the initial offer. I even had clients the other day, they're like, well, that's just our initial offer. We still got to get through inspections. Then we'll know the real value of the house.
Right.
Like that's so if you, you want more competition so that you can at least drive that price up a little bit so you have something to work with.
You bet.
When life hits hard, late payments, medical bills, job loss, or even the need to move quickly, many homeowners feel trapped. The fastest way out seems to be selling to a cash investor, but that means giving your home away for pennies on the dollar. You don't have to do that. Nearly half of homeowners today are equity rich, and that value belongs to you. With our One Move program, you can unlock that equity immediately, get cash in hand now, and still share in the upside when your home resells. Or, if you'd rather, we'll shop your property to multiple cash buyers so you can choose the best offer instead of settling for one low bid. Go to DunnDealOffers.com and discover the smarter way to get cash fast without losing the equity you've worked so hard to build.
To those who take the risk, who bet their life savings, their blood, sweat, and tears on a rental property to make a nice place for someone to live and a nice living for themselves. To those who get this call or no call at all. To those who keep adding more properties, it will all be worth it for you and for them. You care about preserving your investments. So do we. Real Property Management.
professional guidance while you're on the market, because it's assuming you're working with an agent, because you can't get it on MLS without one. If you're going to sell it off market, there's there's on your own off market or off market with an agent. I think it's good to split up. If you're off market with an agent, you're still coordinating showings, still coordinating prep. It's just you're maybe not showing as many people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're on your own without an agent, you have to do that all yourself, which usually gets a little gray area, I would think. You got safety concerns coming into play. Who's walking through the home? Who's there when they're there? Are they going through your valuables or not? I mean, what other things are you seeing if it's off market, regardless of with an agent or without an agent? I think you're too close to the deal when you're not working with an agent,
Right.
And you sell off market. That's that emotional side of it.
Most of our properties are vacant.
Okay.
So we don't have to deal with all the belongings and everything.
Right.
Our owner is physically
Removed.
And so we don't have to worry about those kind of things typically.
But say it's vacant, they're not using a realtor, and they're selling it off market themselves, they probably still have to show up at the property to show it.
They have to go show it. They got to let them in.
Yep. And that's just a whole ball of fun.
That's it. Only takes a few times that you have no shows.
Yes,
that happens all the time.
Think about the no shows,
and that drives you up the wall.
Yes, because you rearrange your whole day to go meet somebody who no shows or tries to reschedule while you're driving there.
Right.
Then you have to worry about making sure you stick with fair housing and no discrimination by who's showing up and appearing, whether they have family or not family or background. So that's another scary part.
There's a lot of. I would be scared to do it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much. The world now is so crazy.
Yes.
That you got to watch yourself.
And those people usually kind of know the game they're playing anyways, too. So you're kind of at the disadvantage because you're not knowing.
They're trying to trap you.
Yeah, they are trying to trap you. And that's just the name of the game. So if you have a real estate agent who's seen this more than one time a year, like one person would be the one time they try to sell or lease it out, you've got someone who can kind of help buffer that for you. But even still, if you're just only putting it on Craigslist and Zillow and you're not putting it on MLS, the candidates you're getting are probably not as pre-qualified.
We have never gotten a candidate off Craigslist. I mean, it
or Facebook Marketplace. I mean, there's so many horrible
we've
places.
Gotten a few.
You can get leads from there.
Yeah, you get a lead, but you're
qualified.
You got to
tenants.
watch out. You definitely got to do background checks on everybody and make sure they are who they say they are, and those are the big things that the individual do-it-yourselfer, they don't see the importance of that.
Which is just crazy because they're just trying to make a means to an end. They just want to have the payment covered the next month and have someone in the house, and they think
they're just worried about their mortgage payment.
Yeah, let's just get them in, and then they don't realize the handcuffs they just put on themselves if they had a bad tenant for the next 11 more months.
Mm-hmm.
And they have usually not very many means to get out of that.
Right.
Once you're
you
there.
Got a lease, it's a signed contract.
You're there until it's like egregious, but then you still have to fight to get them out of it. Like the eviction process is a whole nother episode. So you don't want to do this on. So that's one of the biggest costs right there is just getting a bad tenant in that you thought you were worried about 1 month not being covered. Talk about the rest of the months of them no paying you. Right. The quality of tenant is going to be not as great. And the competition to get into that house to get a really good price for it isn't going to be there either if you do it off market. Even though you feel like it's all, because you still have to do the same kind of prep. You're going to have to take some sort of photos. You're going to have to clean it. You're going to have to do some of the property code requirements. Right. You're still doing half the work.
Well, most of the time they don't know the code requirements.
That's fair. But you do all that just to cut yourselves at the knee by not putting it on MLS.
Right.
That's just bonkers.
And those potential tenants, they're still looking at MLS.
Yes.
They're still going to all these other places and they're just going to compare you to them.
Right. And then on our end, if we have someone that is trying to sell off market, half the time they're not using an agent because they're trying to save the money. And the crazy part is the studies show that if you for sale by owner off market, you're losing 20 to 30% off the price of your home. When all agents' commissions are negotiable, they are definitely a fraction of that.
I believe that.
Fraction of that. And usually, so if we can show that we make you more money as a seller by putting it on the MLS while still hiring us, but you take it off market and try to do it all yourself with the unknowns of showings or people are going to be there. It's just insane to me that people would do that. But they think, oh, well,
you deserve what you get.
I'm saving so much money doing this. Well, yeah, you're saving the agent hiring fee.
Right.
But you're losing all the other profit because anyone who's walking around going to off-market homes, the same thing with the tenants. They have the game they're playing and they know they're getting a discount.
Yep.
And a lot of times, which is sad too, is it's the more distressed homes will sell off-market.
Yes.
Because they need cash quick.
Most of those are investor buys.
And they they could have put it on the market in shambles and still made more money. And they just are in such a bad, tough spot. So I think it's a big message is like still have the conversation with the agent, because even if you're going to sell off market and try to sell it to a cash investor, for a little tiny bit of inconvenience of prepping it and putting it on the market, even if it's just like decluttering and putting it on the market, you're going to get more money on the market.
Just this week, I had one investor that's wanting to get out of the market. Mm-hmm. So do you know anybody? Well, I got a handful of investors that I'm sending his properties to them and seeing if they want to do it. They just absorb
them right up.
And that would be that would be another example of an
off market where it makes sense. There are times when off market can make sense. So cons: lower exposure, fewer offers, less pricing leverage because you don't have any demand.
Right.
Lead to second guessing on whether you're pricing it properly or not. I love this because they talk about selling a car. I hate comparing house selling to car selling, but in this instance, it kind of makes sense. Like if you're going to sell your car just to your neighbor, you're going to get one price. But if you list it on one of the sites, you're going to get a whole nother buyer pool of people. So it's very rare that selling off market, you don't leave money on the table. Very rare. And it's those instances where the match is already made and it just makes sense. But a lot of times it needs to be on the market. And if we come back to renting to someone you know, we've said it doesn't, just because you know them doesn't mean you know them.
Watch out. You're
probably better off with a stranger. It could fill faster if you've already got the match made, but it's like subletting. You know, it's not really the long-term thing usually. It could feel easier than having to market the property, but it's rarely any easier, I would say, to rent to someone you know, because you have that whole unknown of, are you going to get screwed over in the next 11 months because you shortcutted. You didn't do the things that you were supposed to do to validate if they were a good tenant for you or not. Enforcing lease terms is tougher. And the relationship damage probability, that's really tough. And then, a lot of times I think what most people do when they want to go off market or sell to a friend or whatever it is, they're looking for that convenience. And they're missing the long-term play because they're in a pain point of their lives. And maybe they can't make the next month without having somebody fill it in. And it's just so much better to have the conversation.
Take your time.
Before it gets to that point. Yeah, take your time, do it right. Let us do it for you. Let us leverage it, do it for you. Because it doesn't always come out to the outcome that you are really looking for. And solving that one simple pain point could have created even bigger, longer pain down the road. So I think that's the best way to kind of put a bow on that is it may feel easy right now.
Yep, that's the best way.
But it's probably not going to solve all your problems. Convenience, you pay for convenience in one way or another. And this is one of those industries you can't really shortcut it.
Nope.